Hi, it's Mike from Nascent Startups. I've gotten some pretty good feedback and interest on my previous post about Dis-Ideation, so I thought we would go a little bit deeper with Dis-Ideation. So entrepreneurship, as in creating a tech startup, is a blend of at least three activities: exploration, discovery, and invention. You undertake an exploration, and that leads to a discovery, and that discovery sparks an invention. With exploration, you're curious. With discovery, you're learning something new about the universe. And with an invention, you've come up with a better way to do something. You can compare your invention to the status quo solution, and often your new way is more affordable or faster or more accurate or whatever. As founders, we are naturally curious about the world. We're always in exploration mode. Then we get hit with a great idea for an invention, for a startup. We feel passionate. People are going to pay for my service, for my app. The invention implies the discovery of customers. The truth is that at the nascent stage, your idea for an invention is just the kernel of an idea. I don't want to take anything away from people coming up with inventions. I do it all the time. I love it. If you're doing this, I love you for doing this. You and me, we're the same people. The key mistake I see people make is they want to go and build their invention right away. And you can do that, but the chances of success are not very high. To increase your chances of success, you need to iterate and to go through this whole process of exploration, discovery, and invention one more time, but in a more focused way. Write down your idea for the invention for your product on a Post-it or wherever you feel comfortable, and then write on another Post-it your ideas about the people who will use your invention. This could be a sentence or a paragraph or a list. Don't get bogged down. You just need to get yourself to a starting point so that you can iterate against it. The iteration is the most important thing. Your invention idea began with a general curiosity about the world. The concept of dis-ideation is to now focus that curiosity in another iteration using an exploration exercise. You need to search for people in pain, and you need to deeply understand who these people are and exactly what type of pain they have. I want to hit the idea of deeply understand really specifically, because I'm saying deeply understand and I'm not saying validate. And the choice of words there is really deliberate. To me, validation is very narrow. The outcome is binary. It's either true or false. Validation and the scientific method are useful when you're able to limit most of the variables and just test one thing at a time. Sometimes it means that you know a bunch about the system that you're trying to understand. More often, you'll make a bunch of assumptions. Today, I work with tons of founders who list all their assumptions and make all these assumptions so that they can test one thing at a time. I think a more productive way of running an exploration exercise is to come with curiosity, to say, I'm not going to be able to identify all the variables. I don't even want to try at this point to list every single possible assumption because it's very tedious. And the better way to learn, talk to people, search for people in pain, and iterate and learn what exactly is so painful for them and who exactly are they. When it comes to exploration, the outcome you're seeking is learning, not validation. Learning frames the problem in terms of known unknowns. You want to make a few assumptions, but you don't want to get bogged down in listing assumptions and listing variables and trying to think through every last detail. Founders are just naturally curious people. Founders, curiosity is a superpower that you have. Most people are not as curious as us, and that's a special thing that we bring. It can also be a detriment at times because we can go down rabbit holes that are a distraction. Part of my goal with the Nascent Startups methodology is to empower you to use your curiosity in a productive way. You don't want to invest lots of time in articulating assumptions. What you want to do is talk to people, search for people in pain, and iterate and learn. You might be saying, Mike, why is this new? What's special about dis-ideation? As I detailed in Nascent Startups blog post number 8, there was a big reset back in April 2015. Before April 2015, founders had to lie to themselves to secure that all-important funding. When you're a founder, you do what it takes to make your startup live. And if it means bullshitting yourself and bullshitting investors, so be it. Fake it till you make it. Now, after the big reset, everything has changed for founders. There's no longer pressure to secure funding at the nascent stage, So this unlocks a huge opportunity for founders to be curious, to wander, to fully focus on exploration without having to lie to themselves. So when you have an idea for an invention, pause to recognize that the invention implies a discovery that hasn't happened yet. Write down who you think those people in pain are that your invention is going to help. You need to explore. You need to talk to people. You need to get out of the building. I guarantee that you are going to learn. Sometimes you'll find that there are people, but they don't really have pain. Or they're so hard to access, they're so hard to get in front of, that you can't create a startup company around them. Or that there are people in pain, but they're different than who you wrote down originally. Regardless, you're starting with a kernel of an idea, and the best way to be successful, and success means either developing a meaningful startup opportunity or avoiding a distraction, the best way to be successful is to develop a clear understanding of the people in pain that you're trying to help. And if you get really lucky, you'll find some people in pain who might someday become your customers. This was another discussion of Dis-Ideation. A shout out to Lex Friedman for the Lex Friedman podcast, where he interviewed Jeff Bezos. That helped inspire some of the framing that I brought to you around Dis-Ideation today. I'm going to include a link to Lex's podcast in the description. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Lex.